On the line. Ramara, good morning and welcome to AM News.
Good morning to you, Marumo, and good morning to the viewers.
Now, let's get on with it. What are people saying on the ground about this clash that will be happening later on this evening?
Well, Marumo, it was very interesting to look at the traveling Mamelodi Sundowns supporters interacting with the local fans. You know, obviously, South African fans, they expect their team to continue with their good record against Zamalek. Remember, Sundowns, they've already beaten Zamalek 3 times in this competition, twice in the group stages, and in the other win happened away here in Alexandria, as well as back home. And in the first leg, we saw of the final, we saw Mamelodi Sundowns registering a 3-0 healthy lead. And you know what? That somehow gives them an advantage. But we all know that Zamalek, they are a hard nut to crack when they are playing at home. Last night, I went to the match venue to watch Mamelodi Sundowns training. And we met, Zamalek players. And to me, they looked very tense. You know, pressure is on the players. I mean, Zamalek, they've won this competition 5 times previously. And I don't see them, pulling it through this time around. But you listen to Egyptians or the local fans here, they believe that, if Sundowns are capable of scoring 3 goals at home, they can also do the same. I mean, some of the people are even saying Zamalek will beat Sundowns 5-0, but that remains to be seen.
Sifiso, talking about the fans, we've seen some of pictures of some of Al Ahly supporters actually with Sundowns flags. So how much divided is the country when it comes to this final?
Yeah, we all know that the 2 biggest clubs in Egypt are, without any doubt, Al Ahly and Zamalek. Obviously, Al Ahly, they've won it 8 times. They don't want to see Zamalek, closing the gap. I'm talking here about 5-time African champions. Obviously, Al Ahly fans are fully behind Mamelodi Sundowns. So it's going to be interesting at the stadium to see what will be happening. But without any doubt, the Borg El Arab Stadium is a 100-seater venue, very huge. And you know what? Because of the political instability in this country, government did not allow 100,000 tickets to be sold. They wanted that number to be restricted. But Zamalek president was fighting all the way. And you know what? It remains to be seen how many people will be at the stadium. But many are saying at least 70,000 fans will be attending tonight's match.
Now, mind games have been the order of the week, really. How is Downs players and technical team dealing with all this? Because we know that they were not given training facilities and the likes. But how are they holding up?
Yeah, well, without any doubt, Marumo, mind games at this level of competition is the order of the day. Yeah, Sundowns, they missed one day of training after landing on Thursday. They didn't train because they, according to Zamalek, they couldn't secure a training venue for them. So those are some of the mind games that, are part and parcel of the game at this level. But you know what, Pitso Mustimani is a very matured coach now. He knows, some of these things, and surely he's instilling that in the minds of the players to say, you know what, at the end of the day, it's going to be 11 against 11 players. And I think the first 15 minutes of the game, that is going to be very crucial. Sundowns soak all the pressure. And if, as the game progresses, if Zamalek don't get a goal, obviously the team will get frustrated. We all know the pressure of playing at home. The local fans will get frustrated. I won't be surprised if, they change and start supporting Mamelodi Sundowns. And I think it's going to be a major boost with the 3-0 lead. Imagine if Sundowns can score an early goal, it's going to be a very big mountain to climb for Zamalek to score 4 against Sundowns without reply. So it's going to be a very interesting match.
So now we know that some of the young boys that are there with Sundowns, we're talking the likes of Keegan Dolly, they're very young players. They've never really get to experience football at this level. Looking at them or watching them train yesterday, what can you share with us in terms of the mood in the camp?
Yeah, well, I can say the mood is very high in the Sundowns camp. You know, if you mention a player like Keegan Dolly, we all know that he's the under-23 captain, and he was very instrumental in making sure that South Africa qualifies for this year's Olympics in Brazil. So, you know what, I think players realize that this is history in making. I mean, the likes of Kamabilia, surely 3-4 years ago, they did not imagine themselves being in this kind of a situation, and you can't let such a chance to slip. So it's going to be interesting to see how Sundowns, young players, as you mentioned, cope with the pressure that is facing them.
Now let's also now talk about the South African fans that have traveled to Alexandria. Engaging with them, how confident are they that Sundowns will come back the champions?
For the fact that the fans, they've traveled all the way from South Africa. I mean, you know what, having 150 fans, you know what, it's going to be a drop in the ocean. I mean, compared to what the number of support that Zamalek will be getting. But you know what, I think that will somehow also give confidence to the Sundowns players. I mean, the supporters are very confident. They are all talking about the stars that Orlando Pirates cannot continue to be the only team with a star for more than 20 years. And hopefully, you know what, we see the South African, another South African team come 10 o'clock or 10:30 this evening to be crowned continental champion.
Now, Ramara, let's also talk about the host, Zamalek. We know they are a formidable team. What is it that you're getting from the camp? I mean, you said earlier that the fans are saying, actually, Zamalek can end up winning by 5-0. But when you look at the body language of the players during their training sessions, what can you share with us from that perspective?
Yeah, without any doubt, Marumo, Zamalek, they are a very big team, you know, with a very rich history. Having won this competition 5 times in the past, pressure is on the current, you know, group of players to also make their own history. But at the same time, we all know that, you know what, Zamalek in the past few weeks, I mean, they are an injury hit squad. If you look at them coming to South Africa a week ago, they only had 14 infield players plus 3 goalkeepers. So that shows that, you know, they don't have the depth that they need for this kind of a match. So I don't think, many of their players could have made a speedy recovery, you know. But playing at home, you know, Marumo always has that psychological advantage. And let's hope they rise to the occasion.
Ramara, talk to us more about Alexandria. You know, when you're in South Africa, when you play in Mamelodi, you know you're going to get Sundowns supporters there. When you go to Bloemfontein, you know you're going to get Bloemfontein supporters there. Talk to us about Alexandria and the passion or the love for football. How would you then share that information with us?
Well, like I said previously, Al Ahly and Zamalek are the 2 biggest teams in Egypt, and surprisingly, both of them, they come from Cairo. Zamalek is not a team from Alexandria, but like I said, you know, because of the political instability, the government made sure that they shift this match away from the capital city, Cairo, and brought it to Alexandria to try and, you know, control the situation in case, you know, things get out of control. But without any doubt, fans will be traveling all the way from from Cairo to Alexandria to make sure that they support the local team, because it's not very far it's about 220 kilometers from Cairo to Alexandria, except, the traffic congestion in this part of the world. But I'm expecting, fans to start making their way to the Al Harab Stadium here in Alexandria.
Sifiso, thanks a lot for sharing that information with us. That's SABC reporter Sifiso Ramara joining us live from Alexandria in Egypt.